Hey everyone, welcome to The Alternates, a basketball show for the others, where we like to showcase independent music and discuss all things basketball. We have got a fun show lined up for today. We're going to be checking out the headliners. Maybe not the most positive segment this week, but
it's okay.
But we've got headlines to talk about again.
We do, yeah, exactly.
The season is back. We're going to be playing 3-pack. And I've got something very fun lined up for 3-pack this week.
Okay, yeah, I'm curious to see.
So I'm excited to jump into that. And then, of course, it's Friday. We're going to the casino at Clayton.
Yep.
We're putting money down for the weekend games. I am ready to continue my building of an empire that I've been doing. And we've got all that and more coming up right after the song, which is Let Them Eat Samosas by Sutra off of the God Save Us from the USA compilation in 1988 on Happy Mike Records. We will see you in just a moment. What is up, y'all? Welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us. We, of course, are The Alternates. I am your host, Brian Cullen, and with me, as always, is everyone's favorite detached co-host, Clayton Stevens.
Hello, everybody.
You're getting called out. I'm the new JJ. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Before we jump into our first segment, I just want to take a quick second, remind you to hit subscribe to the channel on YouTube. That is youtube.com/thealternates if you have not done so already. And then hit that like button. Give us a little thumbs up on the video. Helps us out. Defeat the algorithms. If you're catching us as a podcast, not on YouTube, just remember to hit subscribe on that as well so that you can stay up to date with all things alternate. And of course, if that platform has a rating and review option, give us one of those. I'm going to keep threatening it. I'll fucking read it on the air. I don't care.
He's told y'all too many times.
I'm living reckless. I'll do it. And then, of course, if you want to reach out to us, you can do so by emailing us, thealternatehoop@gmail.com. You can follow us on Tik Tok Tic Tac.
Tic Tac.
That's a new
That's
social
a new
media
one.
website.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, my elderly millennial side is coming out right now. You can follow us on TikTok at the Alternates NBA, or you can reach to us in the comments section of the video, and we'll respond.
Trust me, we will respond.
Yeah, straight up have nothing else to do. I'm sitting there just refreshing the comments all day. Clayton, how are you doing?
You know what? I'm doing well. The NBA's returned. It's
back.
Yeah, it's a nice little break from just a hellish week in the world. A lot of horrible, terrible
Truly.
stuff going on. So it's nice to get a little mental break from that, be able to focus on something else, have a little fun, come in here with you, have a little fun. And I hope that today we can talk for a little while and all just sort of talk about something we love, which is totally okay to do during a time like this, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We are living in an absolute hellscape of the world. So let me help with the escape there and take you into the hellscape of headlines as we jump into headliners.
Basketball headlines. Let's do it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Not a lot of great news, but there's still time. We still got 25 games left in the season. I'm going to stay optimistic, but as we come out of the All-Star break into the NBA, there's some stuff I want to talk about here.
Okay.
We're going to be in New York a lot during this segment. I'm just going to throw that out there right now.
The media capital.
Yeah, it is a New York heavy segment. So let's start with the Knicks,
Okay.
where the Knicks and Kemba Walker have come to a mutual agreement to shut down the point guard season. He's going to sit out the rest of the season. What's your take on this? What's going on here?
I'm really disappointed in the Knicks on this one. Look, I if you've been watching the show, you know I've been pretty down on the Knicks recently.
I was going to say, you're disappointed on this one?
They just keep disappointing me over and over and over again. You know, Kemba is a great veteran in this league.
Yeah.
Been around a long time. Really earned his place as one of the most respected guys in this league. And I just feel like they've completely mismanaged him from the jump. You know, they put him into the starting guard position with a team surrounding him that didn't make sense. Took a long time for Tibbs to move off of it. Then they put him on the bench. Well, first, then they say, just don't play.
Yeah.
Then they start bringing him off the bench. He has a little success. Now they're telling him, don't play at all. It's just typical Knicks bullshit here, man. Really, it's crazy. It doesn't matter who they put in charge. Just something like this ends up happening every season. It's very disappointing. If they didn't want to play him, trade him. Do something with the guy, you know? And I think this probably happened because the team said to him, hey, we'd love to buy you out. And he was like, great. So for everything, right? And they were like, well, you know,
pennies on the dollar.
We want to haggle that price a little bit. And no, he's earned the right to. They gave him the deal.
Yeah.
He should be paid every cent of it. And it sounds like this is the only way that he's going to get his money. So this is what he has to do. It's kind of depressing.
Yeah. Like the most heartbreaking thing about this for me is he's a New York guy. He was so excited to be in New York and play for the Knicks.
Yes.
And it has just not worked out at all for him. And look, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that he's been this incredible all-NBA talent by any means.
No.
Because he's not been.
Yeah.
His career definitely seems like it's starting to trickle out a little bit.
Fair to bring that up, too. I think that's totally fair.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that that's not the case, but he's not been put in a situation to optimize what he's able to do. It feels like they haven't really worked with him all that much. And yeah, it sucks. And like you said, like if you want to move them. And what's like, look, their season's done. We know that. They're done.
Done.
Shutting him down isn't a like, oh, he was helping us win and we want to get a high draft pick. No, you obviously want to move on from him. Let him show what he still has in these last 20 or so games, and then you can maybe get a better package for him in the offseason. Doing it this way, and it seems like it was Kemba's idea, at least from what I read, and that the team was like, okay, so maybe Kemba has a destination already in mind where he's already talked, or like his agent has talked to somebody, and it seems like maybe there's something lined up, so he's not worried about it, and he doesn't want to risk injury, but man, what an absolute fireball burnout here with the marriage of Kemba and the Knicks. And it's truly disappointing.
Yeah, like you said, the best moment of his career was his, the big shot in college at Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
That's literally what he's known for. It seemed like it was going to be a great coming home story. And I think he would have totally accepted, which he did actually for a brief period, being a guy off the bench, like happy to do whatever the team asked him to do. And he's, like you said, he is on the downside of his career, but he's certainly a rotation player in this league. Shown enough this season, had a couple like 30-point games, had some really nice games in there. His career is not done. This is a bit of a tragedy.
Definitely. All right, well, let's cross the bridge and get into Brooklyn with the Nets, who signed Goran Dragic after he came to a buyout agreement with the Spurs. My question to you is, how big is this for the Nets? Is this a big move for them?
It's a big move for them. I mean, if Goran Dragic plays the way he played in the bubble, this is a big move, right? Like if that's the Goran Dragic that they're getting from a couple of years ago, then this is a big move. He's a big time player who's done a lot in big moments. But I kind of find this to be a bizarre choice for him. I will say that.
Okay.
I think going to the Nets, a team that already has a pretty good amount of guard depth. Mm-hmm. Look, I think he went because of the Steve Nash connection. He pretty much made it known.
Oh, he said right? that's what it was.
That's what it was that got him there. That's great. An injury could happen. You never know. He could be launched into the starting lineup. Yeah. You never know. So this is great insurance, obviously. I would have liked to seen him go to a team like the Bucks where he had an immediate role that immediately made sense.
Yeah.
But for the Nets, this is a great deal. It keeps him off a team like the Bucks.
Yeah.
And puts him into their rotation, of course, as insurance, or just if he's playing well enough, throw him out there.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's a potential for him to play alongside Patty Mills. He's more of a playmaker than Patty Mills is. And
so those would be your two guards off the bench.
That's what I would kind of think. I know it's a small backcourt, but with Patty shooting, Goran's playmaking, I do think that it could be kind of a double threat in the backcourt for them off the bench. Now, part of this that I think is interesting is a quote came out where he said that he didn't get along with the Toronto Raptors leading up to that. And I saw that and I was like, oh, wow, okay. There seems to be something here. And then I looked into it and I read the entire quote. And he basically said, we didn't get along. I wanted to play. They wanted to go younger. They let me know that I didn't really fit in with what they were trying to do, the direction they were headed. And they let me know that I was going to be traded. I wish them all the best, And I was like, oh, this is actually a very respectful thing. I think the not getting along part was kind of a language thing, perhaps.
Lost in translation a little.
Yeah, it seems like maybe he was saying not that they didn't get along, but that they didn't agree on where the team was headed, that the role wasn't there for him.
Right.
Which I thought was interesting. And it's the internet, right? It's let's take a snippet, throw it out there. Nobody's going to read the full article and we can get a bunch of, retweets and clicks and all of that stuff.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, and I'm glad that you expanded upon that quote. But the interesting thing, right, is they did end up trading him for a 34-year-old Thad Young?
Yeah. Well, Young. They said they wanted to get Young, so...
Okay, so it was a literal translation loss.
Exactly.
They were trading for someone young. Thad Young.
Exactly.
Okay, got it. Yeah, it makes more sense now.
A lot lost in translation here.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
We're going to stay in Brooklyn.
Okay.
Because New York City Mayor Eric Adams stated...
Always entertaining, Eric Adams.
Yeah, certainly.
He's in the headlines a lot.
Well, he stated, his office said that basically they can't wait to get rid of the vaccine mandates, following suit with cities like Washington, D.C. I think Boston has lifted theirs.
Yeah.
And that it seems like in the next couple weeks, they could be getting rid of that. Now, that alone is not a basketball headline. But we obviously know what the tie is here. And it's that if they get rid of that, Kyrie can now play home games. He can now play games in Madison Square Garden. He's available for every game.
Essentially, outside of a couple. Yeah.
Exactly. So... what's your take on, this is huge, right, for the Nets?
Yeah, obviously this is big news for the Nets. Like you said, it's not directly related, but we also know Eric Adams addressed this specifically Kyrie Irving situation and the sort of inequity in this mandate that it only applies if you don't live in New York City. It just didn't make sense. I think this was probably the most likely outcome once we realized, just how inequitable this was. Is probably the only way that this was going to move forward. So yeah, this is really big news for the Nets. As long as they don't draw the Raptors in the playoffs, they should be fine.
Yeah.
With Kyrie playing. And it seems like they're not going to draw the Raptors, pretty unlikely. And this gets rid of the vaccine bracket we'd been talking about, like,
These
where
goddamn gods just working against me.
Yeah, so it sounds like Kyrie's going to be there. They have Goran Dragic now. A lot of really positive news for the Nets.
Yeah, there's so many things that I find funny in this, like, that are just kind of like after effects of it, right? Because we can go to the James Harden, asking out, wanting to get traded. And one of the things he said was he was disappointed that Kyrie couldn't play and all this. He gets traded a week later. They're like, yeah, we might get rid of that and Kyrie can play. Goran Dragic signs, goes, oh, hey, I might actually get some meaningful minutes, at home games.
Yeah, with this Kyrie situation. Especially
like,
because they have I believe they have a super home heavy schedule coming up
do.
here, right?
Yeah.
So it was like, oh, get some run.
Exactly.
No.
He puts ink to paper and Kyrie might be playing those games now. So it's so funny how these things happen pretty quickly. But
yeah, and as we know, this stuff changes week to week, month to month.
Absolutely.
This is still up in the air, but a bit of positive news for the Brooklyn Nets on the basketball court.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's super interesting to me because I think that this is going to have major playoff implications. If it is lifted heat and Kyrie is able to play all these games, you might see teams trying to get the hell out of the 2 seed as the season comes to an end, because if they end in the 7 seed, nobody wants to see a fully healthy Nets team in the first round.
It's funny because you actually might want to tank your way down to 3rd, right? Because there's the 7-8 playing game to decide who's 7 and 8, not necessarily by your record at the end of the season.
So just avoid it altogether.
Yeah, so you actually might want to get down to 3rd and say, like, I know who I'm playing.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Very interesting.
Okay. Now we're going to go down south. So there's a bunch here, but the Pelicans' Zion Williamson has finally made contact with CJ McCollum. Now, this is several things leading up to it. During the All-Star break, CJ McCollum in an interview said that he still had not had any contact with Zion. Zion had not reached out to him. They had not spoken since he had been traded to the team.
Yeah.
And then JJ Redick on ESPN said basically, like, look, I was Zion's teammate for 2 seasons and called him detached. He called him basically said, like, he doesn't really talk to anybody. He doesn't get along with like, he's not a very open, especially for a guy who's like the guy in a locker room, doesn't really connect with this team, called him unprofessional. So it seems like maybe that statement kind of forced his hand to reach out and make contact with CJ McCollum. But is Zion done? Is he out?
I think this could be the beginning of the end for Zion Williamson in New Orleans.
Yeah.
There's been just enough on the court for him, I think, there are teams out there that would 100% take the risk. They will take on the risk of Zion Williamson. For New Orleans, it's tough because I think they've actually played their hand pretty appropriately here. They didn't throw Zion under the bus necessarily. They actually waited for a player to do it. And look, I think this needs to be stated. It's been stated, but it needs to be like put into our brains. CJ McCollum is the president of the Players Association. This is not just any guy. This is, a top player in the league, one of the most respected players in the league, the one who runs the Players Association. You are in contact with him.
Yeah.
It's a very important person to contact, even if he's not being traded to your team. Like, it's just a bizarre situation that he wouldn't be. But the Pelicans, I think they've played it well. They could trade him, I think, still. If that's what this ends up being. But I'm really worried about Zion. I am, and I wasn't for a long time. But it seems like he's getting really bad advice.
Yeah.
And look, for a guy like JJ to call him out, who went to Duke, they have that connection.
Right.
They have the same agent.
Mm-hmm.
They were teammates together in New Orleans. And JJ has a spite sort of against David Griffin for his departure from New Orleans. If anyone would want to not defend David Griffin, it would be JJ Redick.
Yeah.
So yeah, this was a tough person to be calling out Zion Williamson specifically.
Not great.
Yeah. And so happy that JJ did it. Honestly, like, shout out to him for, being that guy to keep it real with him, because this is an important lesson I think that Zion needs to learn, whether it's in New Orleans or with his next team. You can't be treating people like this.
Yeah, absolutely. This is going to be interesting to see. I think this is going to be a big off-season storyline that we're all going to be following. All right, the last one is like 17 headlines in one. So I just want us to talk real quick about what's going on with LeBron, the Lakers, his son. So a lot has happened, right? So it starts basically with the Lakers not making a move at the trade deadline. All-Star Weekend rolls around. LeBron makes a statement that he wants to end his career playing with his son. He basically said, wherever Bronny goes, I go.
Money's not a factor.
Money is not a factor, right? And then he gets asked, because the games were in Cleveland, would you come back? Would you want to join Cleveland again? And he essentially said, I'm not opposed to it, that's still a possibility.
Yeah.
I don't even know where to begin with this one. There's definitely a lot of smoke here. It seems like LeBron's future with the Lakers is very questionable right now.
Definitely.
I don't know where that lands. Where do you want to start on this one?
Let's start with Bronny.
Okay.
Let's start with his son. So this has always been a rumor, right? That he would do whatever it took to play with Bronny. He's now put his name to it, which is very interesting. It really adds a layer to this because, it's a salary capped sport. So as much as we want to say like, oh, forget, like, who cares what the owners are spending? Like, they can only spend a certain amount.
Right.
There really is a limit. It matters to your construction of your roster, the types of players that you sign to the money that they're signed for. So LeBron saying, I'll play for whatever you have if you draft Bronny, that's a big box office ticket. Like, I think a team would possibly use a first round pick, even if they don't think Bronny is worth it, just for the box office value, for a team like New Orleans or Charlotte or, a team that struggles with attendance, getting LeBron James in your building for one season, the financial, the financial benefits would be tremendous.
Yeah.
So that it's a big story. The problem is, is Bronny an NBA prospect? That's a big question. Right. He is right now, I would say, on the fringes. He is at he's in an elite high school program. He's a starting level player on it. He's not the number one option.
Right.
But he has a chance. What he probably is looking like is a guy who's going to get a G League opportunity. But I think this probably sealed his fate as going to the NBA.
Yeah. So a couple things here. When this came up, I don't even really follow college, let alone high school basketball.
Yeah.
So I had to look it up, and I found a scouting report on Bronny, and it essentially said that he's okay. Like, he's an okay passer. He's got a high IQ, so that improves his passing, but that he's not great off the dribble in terms of being a primary ball handler. He can't really like burn past guys or take advantage of one-on-one matchups. His shooting is decent. The like highest mark on it was that he plays really hard on defense, but he doesn't have like the size or length to be an absolute menace, but he, gets deflections, does that kind of stuff.
Yeah, he is missing the physical tools that his father had at that age.
Exactly. And so it's like cool, but like that doesn't scream NBA guy to me. And it feels to me almost like LeBron is doing this to ensure that his son makes it into the league.
Well, I think this ensured it. I really do. I think this is that. So, okay, let's move past that. It sounds like Bronny's going to get drafted.
Yeah.
The 2024 draft is going to be must-watch TV just for this.
100%.
It's going to be incredible. Okay, when it comes to Cleveland, look, if you're the Cavs, you don't want to sacrifice anything long-term.
Yeah.
You have built something from the ground up that looks like it could be sustainable moving forward. That is the most important thing. I think if LeBron is at the point in his career where he says, look, I don't want to come in and take over your whole thing. I actually need a gap year in between Bronny coming into the league and me leaving the Lakers. I would love to come to you for one season and play, whatever the deal is. Let's say it's a $20 million deal, something like that. As long as he isn't coming in for the long term and asking for like a max deal and all of that stuff, I think the Cavs would be crazy not to go for it. The problem is LeBron James going to do that? I think that's very, very unlikely.
Yeah, and if I'm the Cavs, I don't do it regardless. I don't do it at all. Everywhere LeBron has gone, he has an immense amount of power and control over what's happening. Now, if he goes there, he still has the potential to say, okay, now I want you to draft my son and I stick around. He's moved up because of his father's name in the draft, right? So you could potentially be wasting a draft pick to get him there and keep him there. Now, you just said they built this thing from the ground up. It's a really fun, really, high ceiling young core.
Yeah.
There was another team that had that, and they were called the Lakers. And LeBron went there and he completely gutted it. We're talking about the end of LeBron's career. Now, the very end, he's saying, I just want to play with my son. If you're talking about a gap year, I don't think he's going to look to take a full gap year of like, I'm just going to chill. He's going to want to get another ring in that time. And if he goes to the Cavs, I just potentially see another gut it. Let's get another ring. Like, let's do this. And I just don't think the Cavs should do that. They need to look at the big picture and try to extend their window.
I would agree with that. It's just the question is, like I said, is LeBron willing to not do that? Is he willing to come for a season and sign a true 1-year deal and say, I want to fit into what you have? If he's willing to do that, they would be absolutely crazy to not take it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
but again, I don't think that's really a realistic possibility. Wherever he goes, he's bringing a lot of baggage with him. He's bringing a very big agency that holds a lot over this league. So it's not as simple as that. It probably isn't going to happen, but it's going to be really interesting where he goes, because from the Lakers' perspective, which we should touch on real quick, they gave up so much to make this LeBron AD core fit together. I don't know where they go from here.
Yeah, if LeBron goes, you have to get, because the timer starts for Anthony Davis asking out, right? So you would have to get rid of him as well if LeBron leaves. Maybe you go get Zion. You send Anthony Davis back to New Orleans.
Oh boy. Okay, so we're sending Anthony Davis back to New Orleans, Zion to the Lakers.
Yeah.
Well, it's great for the headline, so I love it for our show. It's a shit show trade idea, but you know what? That's the kind of thing that we may be looking at, is like some blockbuster, I don't know for your I don't know. Let's see, right?
Yeah,
like
huge question marks. All right, well, I'm going to stick with LeBron as we go into the next segment. 3-pack.
Ah, yes.
Now, I said it at the top. I'm changing it up a little bit. It's usually 2 truths and a lie. That is the 3-pack formula. I'm bucking that for this episode because I came up with this idea and I was like, ooh, this is a fun kind of trivia game. Doesn't really fit in the formula. And you know what? You're not going to tell me what to do, okay? I write my own rules.
We're punk rockers here.
Exactly.
Screw you guys.
So, I know that the games have resumed, but I'm still riding high off of All-Star Weekend, where Team LeBron won the All-Star Game, making him undefeated in the draft era of the All-Star Game.
Yes.
So I've got Team LeBron here, starting 5 plus the bench unit.
Okay.
Now, for those that don't know, I love Basketball Reference. I use it all the time when I'm looking up stats or whatever it is. But anytime I end up on a player's page, the first thing that I look at is the nicknames.
Same.
There are so many bizarre names, and I'm like, I've literally never heard anybody call this player that name. So I've got the Team LeBron nicknames.
Oh, okay.
So what I'm gonna do is I'll tell you the roster, and then I'm gonna give you nicknames, and you got to tell me which player is which nickname.
Okay.
Okay, so here we go. Some of these I feel like are gimmies. They're easy.
Okay.
So Team LeBron, starting 5. Let's start there.
Yeah.
LeBron James, obviously. You got Giannis, Steph Curry, DeMar DeRozan, and Nikola Jokic. Okay. Nickname number 1. The alphabet.
The alphabet. If I had to guess here, I'd go with Giannis.
Yes.
Just for the long last name.
Yes.
I wasn't familiar with that one, but yeah. So that's right.
Giannis is the alphabet.
Cool,
yeah, I was aware of that one. Okay. Debo.
Okay, Debo. That's Friday reference. Compton, DeMar DeRozan.
That's right. The Little Emperor.
The Little Emperor. Holy cow. Well, I don't think it's Jokic because he ain't too little, so I'm gonna go with Steph Curry.
It's LeBron James.
Oh my god. Before he was the king.
Yeah.
He was the Little Emperor.
The Little Emperor. Okay, Cookie Monster.
Jokic.
Yes. Which leaves us Threesus.
Threesus, Steph Curry.
Curry.
Got it. Wow. Those are some funny ones.
Yeah. Okay, now we're going to the bench.
Okay.
So the bench is Jared Allen, Jimmy Butler, Luka Doncic, Darius Garland, James Harden, Donovan Mitchell, Chris Paul, and your boy, Fred VanVleet.
Freddie.
Okay, let's start with the easy ones. Steady Freddy.
That's got to be Fred.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Fro.
Jared Allen.
Easy. Boog. Boog.
Ooh, Boog. Darius Garland.
Darius Garland is Boog.
Oh, yes. Yes.
I'll throw an easy one at you. Spida.
Donovan Mitchell. We all know that one.
Yeah, I looked. I was like, oh, maybe
Does
he's
he not
got
have another nickname?
It's Spider and Spida. Literally, they were differentiated by that.
Okay.
Another easy one. Jimmy G Buckets.
Oh, that's Jimmy Buckets himself, Jimmy Butler.
Okay. Honey Bun.
Oh. You know, I thought Jokic's nickname was Honey Bun for some reason, so obviously it's not him. Wow. I'm going to go with Luka?
Luka is not Honey Bun. It's James Harden.
I kind of get it.
Yeah.
I kind of get it. Okay.
El Nino Maravilla.
I'm going to say Luka because he played in Spain, I think.
It is Luka.
Yeah.
It is Luka.
Yep.
The skate instructor.
The skate instructor?
Yeah.
I guess Chris Paul?
It's Chris Paul.
Oh my God.
You did pretty good.
Wow.
You did pretty good there. Yeah, Luka has like 7 of them. Half of them are in Spanish. So that makes sense. Boog, I do not understand whatsoever for Darius Garland.
No, I don't understand it at all. Probably something, that sounds like the nickname your father would give you.
Yeah, it could be a childhood thing.
This feels like
for
a
sure.
childhood nickname to me. Those are some really funny nicknames.
The Little Emperor I was like, because some of these I was like, okay, I know some of these are going to be very obvious.
Right.
And so when I went to LeBron James, I was like, I know it's going to be King James, all of that. And then I saw the Little Emperor and I was like, wow, I have literally never heard that one. That's got to be like maybe even pre-high school or something.
Yeah, I honestly, because, I remember starting to see pictures and video of LeBron James around 16 years old, and nobody would have called him little. He was a man-child.
Yeah.
He was way too big at his age for...
If he's a man-child, who is the league's child man?
Oh, there's a few. There's a few right now. Brandon Boston Jr. is very high on that list.
Okay.
He looks 15 when he's out there.
I would say Jokic. Jokic looks like he's got kind of a teenager's face.
He's got he has a softness to him, right? Like he doesn't have the like rough edges. Another guy I would put in that list. That's a really funny list. Brandon Boston and I had someone. I'm ruining the segment, so forget about it.
Okay, all right, fair enough. Well, maybe we'll make our list at some point.
Yeah,
and we can announce them alt-star style.
I like it.
The childmen of the NBA.
Yep.
All right. Well, let's make some money. Let's go to the casino at Clayton in this week's Bet Brains.
I love it. All right, so before we get into this week's bets, there was an all-star game.
There certainly
was an
was.
all-star weekend, and we had some wagers. So let's go through them.
Let's do it, please.
All right. In the actual all-star game, which was pretty fun, I guess, compared to most all-star games, the Elam ending.
I love the Elam ending.
Love the Elam ending.
Yes,
I really do like that. So I had Luka, Steph, and Tatum combined over 17 and a half three-pointers made. Jason Tatum went 0 for 4 from 3.
Oof.
Luka Doncic, 2 for 4 from 3.
Mm-hmm.
Steph fucking Curry went 16 for 27. You hit exactly the 0 for 18 three-pointers made. Holy shit.
Yes. So I was obviously watching the game and paying attention to the threes. In the third quarter, I just kind of gave up. I was like, Tatum and Doncic are not going to get me over the line here. And what's funny is I think when you laid this bet out, I was like, it's a gamble because Steph Curry has not, he likes to dunk in the All-Star game. He hasn't really shot very well in the All-Star game. 16 for 27. When he hit number 16, I was like, holy shit, I just made it.
Yeah, well, I think he also was for sure making up for that insane fucking segment that he had with him and his wife drinking for it was the most horrible television I've seen in years.
Yeah.
And thank God he made up for it. Won you some money. It was a plus 300 bet, so you won 300 alternates dollars on that one.
And if you're not a Warriors fan, you lost because the monster is awake now.
Yeah, exactly. We may be getting some fun Steph Curry times ahead, so that's fun. Okay, then we had the 3-point contest, which was a great contest this year. You chose to take one of the bottom 3 contestants.
Yes.
In terms of longest odds. You said Zach LaVine was going to win this. Zach LaVine was awful. But you chose the bottom 3. And who was the longest odds? Karl Anthony Towns.
Yes, sir.
He came out, shot the lights out of
Yes,
it,
he did.
won the contest. You put $50, so you won $350 on a plus 700 bet.
Love it.
Luke Kennard was super close and actually beat him in terms of total points, but it only counts in the last round.
Too bad, so sad. I'm getting higher and higher on the Wolves.
And this one that I just barely even want to talk about, the slam dunk contest. Holy shit, this was bad.
It was rough.
I mean, bad.
It was rough, yeah.
Cole Anthony was an absolute disaster. He got nowhere near a 50.
No. His biggest trick was putting a pair of boots on.
And it took way too long. It took so long to put those boots on. Everything took so long. Jalen Green's 20 attempts before making one that they weren't calling an attempt was such a travesty. It was so horrible. I hate the dunk contest now. You lost 25 alternates dollars. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, I lost a lot more.
You're up 625.
I'm feeling good. Feeling rich.
Very nice. Okay, so I got 3 brand new bets here. Of course, at the Casino Clayton, you got to spend a minimum of $100 over these 3 bets. The first one, I've got the Boston Celtics in there. Pretty fun little back-to-back they have this weekend at Detroit Saturday, at Indiana Sunday. I have the Celtics going over 230.5 total points for the weekend, plus 300 odds.
I love it. You know how high I am on the Celtics.
I'm preying on you with this one.
I know you are. I see what's happening, and I am jumping headfirst into this trap. I'm putting $75 on this one. Look, Indiana, not great defense. Detroit, not great defense. Mm-hmm. I am fully confident that the Celtics streak will stay alive, which is funny because they just lost to Detroit before the All-Star break.
Yeah, they did.
So it's going to be a revenge game here. And my 75 is on this game for sure. These 2 games.
Okay, cool. All right, next bet here. I've got the Pelicans at Lakers on Sunday. I've got the combined both teams over 29.5 3-pointers made plus 400 odds. This is a super depressing game. Pelicans and Lakers, just sort of the bad vibes off.
Yeah, definitely. And I have to be super honest here. This bet makes me hate you so much because I will be watching this game now because of this. I'm putting 25 down. I'm not very confident in it. I mean, if it was maybe you drop the number by like 8 and then give me the Pelicans, I would be more confident in that one. Both these teams suck at shooting threes. I'm hoping that CJ and Jonas Valanciunas do their thing and get me to that, but not confident at all. $25 is all I'm willing to put.
Okay, fair enough. And last one here, we got a game tonight. This is a very fun game tonight. Mavericks at Utah, which right now is the 4-5. We just discussed it in start today. And what did we discuss? Luka Doncic has been as hot as he's ever been in his entire career. He's averaging like 35 points a game on insane efficiency, just shooting the absolute lights out of the ball. So I'm putting that to the test in this bet.
Okay.
I've got Luka Doncic having a 50, 40, 90 game. Now, what that means is he needs to shoot 50% from the field, 40% from 3, 90% from the line.
Got it. So I was ready to put all my all-star winnings on this bet until I found out that you were talking about shooting percentages.
Okay, yeah.
I would have put $650 down if it was 50 points, 40 rebounds, and 90 assists.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty reasonable.
Yeah, I think he's playing 48 minutes, and he's doing everything.
Yeah.
No, I like this. I think that the Jazz are in disarray. I think that as a result of what's happening in the locker room, it's going to affect their defensive abilities. Donovan Mitchell didn't play in the All-Star game, if I'm correct, right? With an illness. Who knows what his availability is in tonight's game? I don't know what it is currently, but I'm confident that Luka, the only thing that gives me hesitation here is the free throws.
Right.
But I trust Luka to come out and do this 50, 40, 90. I'm putting $50 on it.
Right. Okay. I forgot to mention that's plus 600 odds. You're putting 50 alternates dollars on it. Very exciting slate of games here that you got some alternates dollars on.
It is. I'm very excited to see how I grow my just mountain of alternates dollars that I've been accruing recently. I appreciate you setting all those lines, and we appreciate all of you joining us. That is going to be today's show. We will be back on Tuesday after these weekend games, which this Jazz Mavericks one, I think, is the weekend game. I am so excited to see this one.
Yeah.
We will be back with headliners, Underground Network, Out of Step, and Duo Jam for the week. That's the other thing we got to watch for this weekend. Our Duo Jam is on. We are back. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Remember to hit subscribe, rate, review, share, all of that good stuff. But more important than any of it is to be kind to each other and be kind to yourselves. What are we ending the show with, Clayton? What song?
All right, so the band is called S.L.I.P. They're from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. The song is called There's No Hope for the USA. This is off their 2016 Slippy When Wet LP on Sorry State Records. And like you said, everybody just do yourself a favor today and do something for yourself. Go outside.
Yeah.
Get away from doom scrolling for a minute and do something that really means something to you. Maybe put on a nice record, nice book.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.